Hey students, you've made it to part 2 of editing our bracket. Nice job. In our previous video, we changed what our right cutout looks like. In this video, we're going to change what the center cut looks like. To get started, we're going to go over to our model, and we're going to right click on a mouse or 2-finger click on your trackpad for your Chromebook, and you're going to go down to Edit Sketch. Let's do that part first. First thing we're going to want to do is check to make sure this says 58. If it does, that's great. We don't have to change it. And then second, we're going to change this number. We're going to check to make sure that this says 50. Mine says 45. Yours should as well, so we're going to change that. To do so, we're going to double click, and we're going to type in our number of 50 on the keyboard. And again, you can either hit enter on your keyboard or you can click on the green check mark. So we've edited that, but now we want to make sure that that little cutout is centered with what we're going to do on this half later. To do that, I need to try out a tool. This is actually my first tool that we're going to use. This tool is called the Dimension tool. Dimension tool is what you see here and what you see here, but for the first time, we're going to create our own dimension. This is going to take a couple of different clicks and then some keyboard work. So we'll go up to the top and we'll click on the Dimension tool. Not a lot happens when we do so because our program is waiting for us to be the human and do the clicking. So now I'm going to bring my cursor, or I'm going to click down over here, and I'm going to get to this line. Cool thing is, when I hover over that line, I'm not even clicking. When I hover, it's going to turn green. That is good. That means, hey, are you wanting to click on that? And I'm going to say, yes, I am. I'm going to click. Now, in order to use our Dimension tool, we have to find lines that are parallel. If we click on lines that are perpendicular, we're going to be like creating with a protractor. And we're not working with a protractor here. We want to get a distance. So we're going to go from here to here. That is a set of parallel lines. So I'm going to click a second time. You'll see that I have this cool little parallel line icon right next to my cursor. So I'm going to click. And now I have to do a third click because right now Inventor's waiting. It's saying, hey, where do you want to put this number? And I want to put it up close to 50. If I click here, I'm going to drop my number in the way of my other dimension, my dimension for 50. This would be a really bad place to click because then my numbers would be overlapping. Notice how this number and this number are halfway or about halfway between the arrows. I want to do the same thing here. And I also want to try to line it up if I can. I don't have to have it perfect. So it's about center. It's about lined up with that 50. So now I'm going to click. So that took 3 clicks. 1, 2, and then 3. And notice a box shows up. Perfect. Now, lucky ducks, we know that it's in the right spot because look at that. It shows up 21, which is actually my measurement I'm looking for. So I'm just going to click on my green check mark, and it's going to plop it in at 21. If you want to mess around with the distance, you can definitely do so. Whoops, try that again. You just click on it one time because you're in your Dimension tool, and you can try out a different dimension. So I'm going to try out 20, and you can see that it moved this rectangle over just a little bit, but I really don't want it there, so I'm going to click again, and I'm going to type in 21 and hit enter. Now I want to save that change, so I'm going to click on my green check mark, my finish sketch, and boom, it actually looks like it moved it a little bit. Awesome! That's exactly what I want. Okay. Just double check my work here. I want to make sure that it didn't also change. Okay, good. I was just checking to make sure this didn't change, but I forgot I changed that one first. Silly me. Okay, so there we go. Now I want to change how deep this cutout is. So when we do that 2D part, we're changing the sketch, but now I want to change the depth or the 3D feature. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to 2-finger click with my trackpad, right click with my mouse, and I'm going to click on Edit Feature. Remember, that's the 3D aspect. And now I'm going to change the distance. Last time we went through all. This time we're going to change the distance. And if I click one time, it highlights everything blue. That's perfect. Again, if it's highlighted blue, I don't need to hit a backspace on my keyboard. All I need to do is type in my number. And my number for this will be 27. So on my keyboard, I typed in 27. There's no need to type in my measurement because it will automatically default to the previous measurement unit, which was millimeters. You can see I get a great preview on my window, and I'm all set, so I can click on OK. And now I've changed the depth of the center cut. I've changed the size of the center cut. And in our next video, I'm going to show you how to edit the holes, how to change those hole features within your bracket.